Good morning, I am Tracy Spence with your newscast. This newscast is brought to you courtesy of BioLife Energy Systems. Come join the living. Call them at 800-875-5433. USA Credit Repair, the key to beautiful credit. You may call them at 800-786-1330. And Cruising with the Case Handler, a show on personal injury and immigration, weekdays 8:30 a.m., on Saturdays 7 p.m. and 12 noon on Sundays. And now for the news in details. Jamaica's Ministry of Labour and Social Security, Carl Samuda, has committed to the revision and implementation of the National Policy for Senior Citizens. The policy will ensure that senior citizens are not discriminated against and are treated with the highest level of respect. He was speaking at the media launch of Senior Citizens Week at the Ministry's office in downtown Kingston. Samuda said the ministry is also in the process of implementing a social pension scheme which will provide well-needed assistance for those who do not benefit from the National Insurance Scheme or a program of advancement through health and education path. Chairman of the National Council of Senior Citizens, NCSC, Dorothy Finlayson, in her remarks, welcomed the minister's commitment to implementing the national policy for senior citizens. The Board of Directors of the Barbados-based Caribbean Development Bank, CDB, has approved a grant of US $200,000 to assist young people across the region who lack technological devices and internet access in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic. The grant for the University of the West Indies, UWI, was approved by the board on Thursday to assist with purchasing information and communication technology and other remote learning solutions for students and to expand the university's capacity to deliver remote education. Division Chief of the Social Sector Division at CDB, Deirdre Clarendon, emphasized how the move to online learning has especially affected students from vulnerable groups. The project, addressing inequalities on online teaching and learning at the University of the West Indies, will tackle the problem on multiple fronts, guided by data collected from student surveys conducted by the university. The project's funding will provide 228 computing devices to be made available to disadvantaged students across the UAE's 5 campuses, and 70 students will be granted internet service for 1 semester. Meanwhile, Jamaica's Ministry of Health and Wellness has reportedly spent $4 billion in the fight against COVID-19. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry, Dunstan Bryan, made the disclosure during the Ministry's weekly virtual COVID Conversations press briefing last week. According to Bryan, a large portion of the funds, approximately $1 billion, went towards providing personal protective equipment, PPEs, and procuring drugs and sundries. He added that a significant amount of money was also spent towards accommodation for returning residents under the controlled re-entry program throughout April, May, and June, as well as on providing support to the regional health authorities. The Permanent Secretary said that the ministry now has a cash balance of about $1.5 billion, with approximately $370 million of that amount being commitments that are to come in for payment. In sports, CONCACAF says Trinidad and Tobago will be allowed to participate in the 2021 Gold Cup draw on Monday, despite their ban by world governing FIFA. CONCACAF announced that the decision was made at an emergency meeting on Thursday, following the Trinidad and Tobago Football Association suspension by FIFA. Trinidad and Tobago will be drawn in the prelims at the Gold Cup draw as planned. However, CONCACAF says Trinidad will only participate in the Gold Cup if the suspension imposed on the TTFA is lifted by FIFA by December 18. Adding that if the suspension imposed on the TTFA is not lifted by FIFA on December 18, Trinidad and Tobago will be replaced in the Gold Cup prelims by Antigua and Barbuda, who are the next highest-ranked team based on their 2019 CONCACAF Nations League performance. On Thursday, FIFA announced the suspension of the TTFA for grave violations of its statutes following a local court challenge to its imposition of a new committee following serious mismanagement. And that is it for the news. This newscast came to you courtesy of BioLife Energy Systems. Come join the living. Call them at 800-875-5433. USA Credit Repair, the key to beautiful credit. You may call them at 800-786-1330. And Cruising with the Case Handler, a show on personal injury and immigration, weekdays 8:30 a.m., on Saturdays 7 p.m. and 12 noon on Sundays. On behalf of the news and the production team, I am Tracy Spence. To have a good morning.